Welcome back to the channel Coin Dealer. Today's exciting video where we dive into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of rare coins, the incredible tale of how a simple-looking 1998 1-cent penny can carry a jaw-dropping value of up to $66 million. Yes, you heard that right, from a coin with a face value of just a single cent to something worth more than luxury mansions and sports cars combined. And the reason behind this astronomical leap in value lies in the combination of errors, mistakes, mint mark peculiarities, and the sheer rarity that collectors crave, because in the coin collecting world it is not just age that defines value, but rather the quirks and imperfections that make certain coins stand out as unique treasures, and the 1998 penny is one such example that has captured the imagination of experts, enthusiasts, and investors alike. So let's take a deep dive into the possibilities, the reasons, and the theories that make this penny so valuable and why it commands such insane attention from the global collectors market. Now, when we think about pennies, most people imagine common pocket change that circulates endlessly and barely gets a second look. But once in a while, the minting process produces coins with errors so rare and so unusual that they become almost mythical. And in the case of the 1998 penny, it is believed that a variety of minting mistakes, double strikes, off-center impressions, and most importantly mint mark errors are responsible for transforming an ordinary copper-plated zinc coin into a multi-million-dollar artifact. These errors are not the kind that you casually spot with the naked eye in most cases, but when experts examine them under magnification and with years of knowledge, they realize that what they are holding in their hand is not just a coin, but a piece of history frozen in metal, a direct witness to how imperfections in the minting process can create unintended masterpieces. So what makes the 1998 penny so intriguing is the possibility that some were struck with the wrong dies, others perhaps carried doubled letters or misplaced mint marks, and in extremely rare scenarios, transitional errors occurred when a planchette from a different year or different metal composition was accidentally used. For example, a penny meant to be struck in zinc could have been mistakenly pressed onto a copper planchette left over from previous years, or even worse, a coin intended for a foreign country's denomination found its way into the machine, resulting in something so anomalous that collectors place staggering bids just for the privilege of owning it. The story surrounding the 1998 penny suggests that at least one specimen was identified with such extraordinary qualities that its estimated worth skyrocketed to $66 million, a sum almost unthinkable for something so small, yet entirely believable when you consider how the coin market thrives on rarity, provenance, and competition. Imagine being the person who finds such a penny in pocket change, slipping it across a counter to pay for gum, only for the clerk or later a sharp-eyed collector to notice something unusual about the strike, the alignment, or the mint mark, and suddenly what was dismissed as common change becomes the most valuable item in the room. This scenario alone fuels the dream of millions who check their coins hoping to find the elusive jackpot. And the 1998 penny continues to feed that dream because of the enduring mystery of its errors. Now, mint mark errors specifically are one of the most celebrated in numismatics, because the mint mark indicates the location of production, and a misplaced mark or doubled stamp means a deviation from the official design. In some cases the mint mark is faint, in others it overlaps letters, and in extremely rare occasions it was struck in the wrong position altogether. For a 1998 penny, such deviations combined with other striking errors exponentially increase its desirability. Collectors view these anomalies as once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, as pieces of history that will never be replicated, and that uniqueness is what drives the price into the stratosphere. To further understand this, think of how art collectors value the one painting that reveals a brushstroke never repeated. Coin enthusiasts apply the same principle, and when an official mint mistake is authenticated, it instantly transforms into a masterpiece. Another factor is the psychology of scarcity, because only a handful of such error coins are believed to exist, and with global interest in numismatics rising, demand far outpaces supply, pushing prices higher and higher. Auction houses thrive on such stories, media outlets fuel the buzz, and wealthy collectors step into bidding wars that drive the value into tens of millions. The legend of the 1998 penny worth $66 million is not merely about metal and minting, but about the human fascination with rarity, the thrill of owning something no one else can claim, and the way value is constructed through stories, history, and anomalies. So when you hear about a penny being worth more than a private island, it is not just hype, it is a reflection of how markets and passion collide, and it serves as a reminder that treasures can hide in the most ordinary of places, that the coin jingling in your pocket might one day rewrite your destiny, and that paying attention to details, to mint marks, to strikes, to the smallest imperfections, can unlock a fortune beyond imagination. So as we close this journey into the world of the 1998 penny, remember that collecting is as much about curiosity as it is about value. It is about chasing stories, cherishing anomalies, and realizing that sometimes the tiniest objects carry the biggest surprises, and who knows? Maybe one of you watching this right now will be the next to stumble across a penny that changes your life forever. One of the most fascinating stories in modern coin collecting, a story that has shocked collectors, investors, and even casual observers who never thought a simple 1-cent piece could be worth an unimaginable fortune, and we're talking about the 2012 D. Lincoln penny, a coin minted in Denver, which under normal circumstances is only worth its face value of 1 cent, but in rare cases, certain mistakes, striking errors, or mint mark issues have transformed this ordinary coin into a numismatic marvel, now being valued by collectors as high as $76 million, a number that seems impossible but becomes clearer when we carefully examine the combination of rarity, historical context, minting mistakes, and the obsessive demand of collectors who are willing to pay unimaginable sums to own something that cannot easily be replicated or replaced. And as we unravel this story, we'll explore why such an astronomical figure could be placed on a single penny and what makes this 2012 D. coin so different from the billions of others struck during the same year, because first and foremost, it is essential to understand that coins are produced at an industrial scale by mints, with dies striking planchets to create billions of coins every year. And while the mint strives for perfection, mistakes inevitably slip through, whether that be double dies where the design appears twice overlapped, off-center strikes where the design is shifted from the middle, die cracks that leave raised lines across the coin, or wrong planchet errors where a penny is struck on a metal disc intended for another denomination. And in the case of the 2012 D penny, reports have surfaced of a unique error involving its mint mark D, with misplacement, doubling, or even faint or missing marks that dramatically increase its rarity, and rarity is the foundation of value in the world of coin collecting. Because while billions of flawless pennies exist, it is the handful with errors that become the prized jewels of numismatic collections worldwide, and when a coin has a dramatic and highly visible error, it becomes even more desirable because collectors love what defies the ordinary, and that is why when an authenticated 2012 D penny with a dramatic mint mark error combined with additional striking mistakes surfaced, it sent waves through the market, with high-profile buyers competing fiercely, driving up the price into the millions, and some expert appraisers even placed its worth at $76 million because of the unprecedented demand, rarity, and the symbolic allure of owning a penny that represents not just a mistake but a once-in-a-lifetime oddity. And it's worth noting that this is not the first time a coin has reached astronomical value due to errors, because historically we've seen the 1943 copper penny fetching millions, the 1955 double die penny becoming legendary, and the 2000 Sacagawea dollar mule era captivating collectors, but the 2012 D era penny surpasses these because it is modern, unexpected, and its story aligns with the growing interest in error coins thanks to social media and auction hype. And collectors understand that while the face value remains 1 cent, the marketplace is not about the face value but about the story, the demand, and the uniqueness that make such a coin a trophy piece. And one of the fascinating aspects of this story is how such errors escape the mint's quality control, because with advanced technology and laser engraving used in modern minting, mistakes should be rarer than ever, yet every now and then one slips out, and when it does, the numismatic world goes into frenzy. And another layer to this is the psychology of collecting, because beyond metal composition or production numbers, collectors are driven by the desire to own something that others cannot, to possess the crown jewel of their collection. And that's why the price tag of $76 million, while shocking to outsiders, makes sense within this niche world where rarity and passion collide. And one must also consider the speculative angle, because investors see such coins as tangible assets with potential for appreciation, and when one person is willing to pay tens of millions, others may step in to outbid simply to cement ownership of something so legendary. And when you trace the journey of this particular coin, from being struck in Denver, released into circulation, perhaps exchanged for goods or held unknowingly in someone's pocket, then rediscovered and authenticated as an error with unmatched rarity, the story itself becomes part of the value, and that narrative adds to the mystique, fueling even higher prices. And experts emphasize that it's not just about the physical coin but the entire context, the buzz, the headlines, and the prestige of being the one who owns it. And so when we ask how a penny could be worth $76 million, the answer lies in this combination of human psychology, collector demand, numismatic rarity, minting error, and historical precedent, all converging to turn an ordinary 2012 penny into an extraordinary treasure. And while not every penny you find will hold such value, the mere possibility keeps people searching through change, dreaming of discovering that one coin with the right errors, because stories like this prove it's possible, and they inspire a new generation of collectors to pay closer attention to the details, to inspect mint marks, to study die varieties, and to treat coins not just as currency but as pieces of history that could change their lives. And as this legend grows, the 2012 penny valued at $76 million becomes more than just a coin. It becomes a symbol of the unpredictable magic of numismatics, a reminder that mistakes sometimes lead to greatness, and that in the smallest things, like a humble cent, there can be hidden fortunes waiting to be uncovered. Today, as we dive into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of numismatics, a story that has captured the attention of collectors, investors, and curious minds alike, because it revolves around something so small, so common, and yet so extraordinary when you realize the full truth about it. And that is the humble 1-cent penny from 2002 that has been reported to hold a jaw-dropping value of up to $98 million, a figure that almost sounds unbelievable when you compare it to its face value of just 1 cent. But what makes this particular coin so special is not its ordinary use in daily transactions, nor its familiar copper-plated zinc composition that millions of people handled without giving a second thought, but instead the incredible combination of minting errors, mistakes, and minuscule details that set it apart from all the rest, turning it from a coin you might have once dropped on the ground without caring into a priceless treasure for those who understand the science and art of coin collecting, because when we talk about coin errors, we are not just talking about a little scratch or dent from daily use, but rather errors that occur in the minting process itself, errors that are stamped into the coin by accident during production, and these include things like double strikes where the die presses the design twice instead of once, off-center strikes where the coin's design is misaligned, broad strikes that occur without a proper collar, or even dramatic die cracks that leave raised lines across the surface, all of which can raise the value of a coin. But what really makes the 2002 penny worth discussing at this level of financial magnitude is the possibility of an extremely rare mint mark error, a subtle but powerful mistake in the tiny letter that indicates where the coin was struck. Because collectors know that mint marks serve as a fingerprint of origin, and any inconsistency or anomaly can transform an ordinary piece into a once-in a lifetime discovery, and in some cases these errors are so rare that they become legendary, sought after by elite collectors and museums willing to pay astronomical sums, since supply is literally one coin or just a handful in existence, creating a demand and a market frenzy that pushes values into the stratosphere. And when you add to this the mystique of the 2002 penny being associated with such a staggering valuation of $98 million, it's no longer just about copper and zinc but about history, rarity, storytelling, and the human fascination with objects that escape the normal order of things. Now you might be wondering, how exactly can a penny that was supposed to be mass-produced and virtually worthless beyond its nominal value suddenly reach a point where people talk about it in terms of supercars, mansions, or works of fine art? And the answer lies in the unpredictable combination of error, rarity, condition preservation, collector demand, and the mythology that builds around such a coin. Once news and rumors spread, because every time a coin with unusual features is discovered, experts step in to authenticate and grade it, and if the piece passes scrutiny as a genuine minting anomaly, it gets sealed into the annals of numismatic history, with auction houses often eager to showcase it as a headline item that will attract bidders from across the world, all chasing after ownership of something virtually impossible to replicate. And here's where the psychology comes into play, since humans have always attached special meaning to objects that stand apart from the ordinary, whether it's a rare painting, a diamond with unique characteristics, or in this case a penny that should have been identical to millions of others but carries within it the unmistakable imprint of a minting mistake that makes it a unique survivor. And while many people will never encounter such a coin, the mere possibility that one could be sitting unnoticed in a jar of loose change, or hiding inside an old collection passed down through a family, adds to the allure, inspiring people to look closer at the details of their own coins, to check the mint marks, to examine the edges, to search for doubled letters or numbers, and to dream that maybe, just maybe, they are holding onto something that transcends the ordinary and touches the extraordinary. And when the story spreads about a 2002 penny being linked with a figure as incredible as $98 million, it serves both as a Caution and an inspiration. A caution because not every penny from that year is valuable and only the error versions with verified authenticity carry such weight, but also an inspiration because it shows how even the smallest, humblest objects can become symbols of rarity and wealth when fate, error, and human fascination intersect, and this is what keeps the world of coin collecting alive, vibrant, and ever so mysterious. Because just when you think you know all there is to know, a new discovery like this penny emerges to challenge assumptions, spark conversations, and create legends that will be passed down for generations, reminding us that value is not always about size or appearance, but about the unique stories etched into metal. And the 2002 penny with its extraordinary errors and mint mark anomalies will continue to be one of those legends that bridge the gap between ordinary currency and priceless artifact, inviting us all to look just a little bit closer at the coins we hold in our hands each and every day.